This is your friendly spoiler alert from Marvel and Makeup. MCU spoilers ahead.
Welcome to Marvel and Makeup. I'm Quincy.
And I'm Kay, and this is a podcast where I teach Quincy a little bit about Marvel.
And I teach Kay a little bit about makeup.
Welcome. MCU spoilers ahead.
Spoilers, spoilers, spoilers.
And today we are diving into Captain America, the Winter Soldier, and we have a great guest. He is a writer, producer, and director, and he's the co-founder of the independent production companies Hip Story Films and Dope TV.
Yes, and he's currently in the NBC Writers on the Verge program. Please welcome Hakim
Hill.
Yay!
Welcome.
I'm here. Glad to be here.
Great to see you. Thank you for joining us. So yes, we're going to be talking about Captain America, the Winter Soldier. Just off the top, what's your relationship with Marvel and comic books kind of in general?
I mean, I grew up on comic books.
Okay.
I did not stay with comic books as I got older. I did kind of add that habit of reading comic books. But
What kind of comic books did you read, Hakim?
Graphic novels. Like my favorite one is Batman versus Spawn.
Oh.
Like beats Batman's ass. I loved it. But then I ended up stopping reading them, and then I didn't get back into it until like Iron Man came out back in 2008.
Okay. So you did you start reading comics again?
No.
Oh, no. Okay. Cool. No problem. I actually don't read comics. Quincy's actually read more comics than I do, but I am more familiar with Marvel in terms of like the movies and the TV shows, but Quincy is not as much.
You write comics?
Huh?
Don't you write comics?
I do. I work for a company right now. I mostly do quality control, like it's copy editing. And that's kind of how I started. Just I thought comics were for like boys, and it felt like a very specific audience. And then once I got into web comics, there's just so many fun things that are being created in the web digital space. And that's how I got into it, and then discovered graphic novels that are not, I mean, the Superman stuff is great. No shade to that. But like, I just didn't know. Like, I just thought you had to be like really into superheroes to read them.
Yeah.
But and this podcast is about Marvel and makeup, and today's Marvel movie is Captain America, the Winter Soldier. A little bit about Captain America, Winter Soldier. It was released on April 4th, 2014, directed by Anthony and Joe Russo, who are a brother directing team. And actually, they're a favorite directing team of mine because they started out directing a lot of television, like Arrested Development and Happy Endings, and one of my favorite shows, Community. Do you guys know Community?
Oh my God.
Yeah. That's where Donald Glover got his start, right?
Yes.
And then Danny Pudi was in it.
Danny Pudi as well.
I wanted to know if, I didn't look it up, if Community came before or after. Came before that, right?
Yes,
you
yes.
Said they were
I
okay.
didn't know they did TV first.
You what?
I didn't know they did TV first. I thought they did films.
Yeah, a lot of TV stuff, especially like, pilots. Like they did Arrested Development pilot, as well as like other episodes of the series after it became a series, as well as Happy Endings and Community.
I think pilot film directing is kind of considered like film directing because it's that one-off and you have to like sell the world and make it believable.
Yeah. And from here they've gone on to do a few different Marvel movies, specifically the next Captain America and the last two Avengers. So this is their Marvel debut in terms of directing, and they've become kind of like a force in terms of like the rest of the MCU through Phase 3.
Wait, I have a question. Sure, Hakim, you're a director. Would you, if you have, I don't know if they're twins, would you want to direct with your brother, twin or not?
Yeah, I would love to.
Yeah?
My brother's actually an actor.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's an actor. I've directed him one time. We never put the film out, but I directed him one time. He's been acting for like since he was a teenager.
Wow.
Yeah, he's a tap dancer. So That's how he
Oh,
makes
cool.
Oh, that's amazing.
But yeah, I would, if he directed, like decided to get into that, I would love to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he younger or older?
Oh, he's 9 years older than me.
Oh.
We got the same face, so it's a little weird.
So you guys are twins.
Basically, 9 years apart. I came out a little later. But yeah, I would love to do that. And I love the Russo style too. Like they just dropped a new movie called Cherry.
Right.
I haven't heard of it.
Spider-Man guy.
Yeah, Tom Holland.
Yeah, and they were showing off. Like they were just like, these are all of our skills. We're gonna put it all into one movie.
Well, that was interesting you say that, because when I was watching this, I was like, stylistically, this doesn't feel like a Marvel movie.
Well, this is interesting. I feel like this is where they kind of established the Marvel kind of look from this point on.
You really think so?
Well, yeah, because they ended up directing 3 more Marvel movies after this. I feel like this kind of did kind of change things and made things even more consistent moving forward, in my opinion.
Okay.
No, I agree.
Oh, really? Okay. I haven't seen, hence this podcast, I haven't seen the other Marvel movies, so I don't know what it looks like. I guess it just felt much darker. This felt a little like hints of sci-fi thriller-ish. And I was like, this feels not as popcorn-y as I thought it would be.
Yeah, and for me, I feel like the action was just like epic.
So much better. So much better.
Yeah,
Like,
and it's the first time they kind of switched genres. You know what I mean? So they didn't really, all of them were just like action films before. But
Yes.
this was kind of like espionage.
Yes.
You know what I mean? This is the first, Winter Soldier is the first time where they kind of delved in cross genres. So it was action comic plus espionage.
Yes.
You get the feeling of both films.
Yes.
So that's they are kind of the ones that started that. Then you look at like, obviously, you're not talking about Thor Ragnarok right now, but that was a comedy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This one was one that kind of paved that way.
Yeah, it felt like that, like just tonally. From the jump, I was like, oh, this feels and looks completely different.
True. And I remember specifically how sneaky Captain America was in this one versus the first one. Because I remember, Quincy, you were just like, come on, wear something that's a little bit more sneaky than like the shield that had like the legit stars and stripes. Also, so he definitely upped his level in terms of the sneakiness in this one.
He's picked.
Hold on, so can we get into it?
Yes.
Sure.
All right, so
go ahead.
He's dressing a little bit darker in this movie.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Notice that there's a lot more espionage going on, and on top of him sneaking around and being more discreet about things, because of the Russo brothers, also story-wise, like metaphorically, he's darker.
True.
Like this is Captain America's first time really questioning his leadership.
Yes.
Whereas the first movie, he's like, I'm just gonna take orders. I'm a soldier. Wherever you send me, I'm gonna go gung ho. But with this one, he's like, all right, why does Nick Fury know all the secrets, and we don't know everything? I'm supposed to be leading this group of people. They all got their own missions.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That in his suit.
Yeah.
True.
I felt like I noticed that it also, like, little things like with that, like they kept going deeper, like the elevators kept going deeper and darker, like tunnels they went to kept getting deeper and darker, which was really interesting visually just to see that.
I didn't even think about that one. That's
True. Now that you point that out, it's like, oh yeah, they were going down a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, like into that, that barracks where like the Zola computer was, which is like that stuff was buried deep. Because it was from the first movie, so it's been around for a long time.
Yeah,
but the first couple of scenes they're going, like he jumps off the plane and he's going down. Then on the elevator he's going down when Harry shows him all the what are those, the helipads?
The helicarriers.
The helicarriers.
Yeah.
And they go into the little basement thing. He's going down. I didn't even think about that one.
Yeah, no, it hit me when there was a shot where it's like a up shot here. What's the word I'm needing? It's a shot, a high angled shot, and you just see the elevator top go down,
right?
Deeper, and it's like a dark hole. I was like, oh, okay, I get it. Trust, secrets, darkness.
Yes. And and that's, for me, this is like the epitome of phase 2. Like, they mentioned it at the end of Avengers, and like the secrets that Fury was having, the weapons that they had been creating secretly. So this is kind of where that manifests. In phase 2, the secrets come out, Hydra reveals itself. And Cap is forced to reckon with like the part he's had in this like big system, bureaucratic system. So so much to unpack here. One quick thing I do want to mention: right at the top of the movie, you have the introduction of Sam Wilson, the Falcon, played by Anthony Mackie. The On Your Left. Which I thought, great introduction, as well as like a great way to kind of like introduce a character, like the one kind of character that throughout the whole movie, he's like, I just met this guy, but I kind of trust him.
You know what? I love that. I was like, oh, is this how guys make friends? Like, I was like, this is such a bromance thing. Like Captain America just like, it's this guy he met running, and it's just like, dude, I know the guy.
It's true, bro. Like, I remember one time, like, I haven't gone to the gym since COVID.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get my vaccine. I'm gonna be going back. I remember being at the gym one time and I'm bench pressing, and this guy just comes over and just spots me for no reason. We get into a whole conversation. I'm like, yo, guy, who are you?
And then you're like, come over to my place and meet my family for dinner, please. And I feel like that's how guys make friends.
Honestly, that is my dad. My dad, because he was a coach, he used to be a coach. And he also used to work at a gym at my hometown. But literally, they couldn't stop him from coming in and like opening up and closing. Like, I don't think they even paid him. But he would do that. Like, he would go and spot people, and when they were by themselves doing stuff, and he would eventually like invite them over for lunch or whatever.
I think you met Kay's dad at the gym.
Yeah.
that was definitely a bromance between Steve Rogers and Sam Wilson. But one thing I loved about this movie was it would have been so easy to incorporate a romance between Steve Rogers and Natasha, but they didn't go that way. You know what I mean? Like, they kissed, but it was obviously for, to distract the guy.
Right.
Yeah.
They chose not to go with a romance, and she's trying to hook him up throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was different for me because, like, usually they'll have a romance.
Yep.
Especially it would have been so easy.
Yeah. It's something I noticed that they do in Korean films. I think Korea still has, a long way to go in terms of like gender roles and stuff. But if you watch Korean films with Korean female leads, there's no romance. Like, the Korean female lead gets to be their own person without a romantic storyline. And it's really refreshing. And I appreciated that too, that they could have like a hetero couple could just be friends.
Well, and I think it also is, setting up for their missions to come, because, Black Widow kind of becomes his, like, one of his wingmen on all, like, their future missions and stuff like that. And I personally thought it was so interesting. Her scenes were so much more interesting and like weighted now that we know like she's gonna have her own movie, and that kind of shows her origin story. So like every single thing that she mentions, you're just like, oh, are we gonna learn what that is? We might learn what that is.
I was like, I know Black Widow's coming out this summer, I think. And I was like, why did it take so long for her to get her own movie? That was the question I was asking. I was like, what?
It shouldn't have taken that long. It makes sense. Especially because she was there since basically the start.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like an Iron Man. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You should have been there she should have had one back in like 2011.
Exactly. She should be on like Black Widow number 3, to be honest.
Yeah.
Well, it is interesting that, her first appearance was in Iron Man 2. And so they were building, it's interesting to see how they built that character throughout all these movies. And then you're going to be like, well, they waited until now to show that pretty much is a prequel, because it's like her origin story that's coming out now. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how informed that is versus what it would have looked like, if it had come out so much earlier.
I say, speaking of prequel origin stories, I thought we could have started this Captain America here and not the first one.
Oh, okay. You didn't.
Why do you think that?
The first, I don't know. I was like, oh, Captain America has arrived. He is here. Like the fight sequences were badass. Like the story made sense. You got a sense of like the past. And like when we watched Captain America, it just felt long. It felt like two different movies had been like smushed together. Did you, and I felt like they had dropped enough of like the fact stuff for you to know like, oh, okay, like he's this old dude who got revived. Moving on. No?
I think this movie only works with the first one.
Oh, interesting. Why?
Because, well, for one, you feel the relationship between him and the Winter Soldier, Bucky, more because you've seen him in the first one. And you've seen how much he meant to him. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like he was, that was his boy before he was
all of this
military, before the super soldier serum. So to see that relationship, once you see Bucky's whole face and whatever that scene was where they're fighting.
Yeah.
You feel what he feels.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think it only works. And this is my favorite, like, Marvel movie.
Oh, really? Why is this your favorite Marvel movie?
It's perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. There's one qualm I have with it. And is really, because it came after the Avengers. Mm-hmm. Like, why didn't he call nobody? He doesn't call Tony Stark. He doesn't call Dr. Banner. Obviously, I don't know if Thor got a phone. He doesn't call Thor. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, why didn't he call all these people? That's the only qualm I have, but that's only after watching the movie like 1,000 times. But aside from that, I'm like, this is a perfect movie. Like, from start to finish. It's a sequel. It's a pure sequel, but it's like, the way I watch this is the same way I watch like The Dark Knight. Where every scene builds up to the next. There's no extras. You know, it's just super airtight. Every storyline they bring up, they finish it off. Plot holes. So I feel like this is really like a perfect movie. Yeah.
Well, yeah. That's super interesting, especially because, you know, it does feel, I agree, it does feel like a full circle, but it is the middle one. So it is still, you know, connected and tethered to the other two, the one that came before and the next one. I will say that in terms of, I think I lost my thought. No. In terms of him calling other people, for me, it didn't occur to me because he doesn't know who to trust. You know, shield this place that he's dedicated his life to, and everything he's done since he's woken up has now turned on him, and like he doesn't know where to go, and he eventually goes to, again, Falcon, Sam Wilson, who he just met. And he's like, "You're my friend, right?" But that is interesting. Like, maybe story-wise, maybe like even then he didn't, even though he just saved the world with the Avengers, like with Tony and them, like he maybe didn't trust them, and you know, eventually we learn how much that distrust comes out between Tony and Cap down the line.
Another one that I love about this movie, and it only comes back when you watch the rest of the movies and you come back to it, but like they tease certain things. So you remember in y'all obviously didn't talk about Civil War yet.
Not yet. That's the first movie in Phase 3.
Yeah, but I gotta say it anyway. So
do you want Quincy?
Yeah.
Do you want to?
There's
you haven't seen it?
No, I haven't. No, Hakim, I haven't seen the whole premise of this podcast. Wait, no,
we're watching them in order because she's never seen them.
We're watching them in order, and it's so funny because we'll do spoiler alerts for the audience, but then like no spoilers for me.
Oh man, I don't want to spoil it.
But I can take. No.
She does this. She's
I
gonna
do
take
this.
it off.
This is not the first time.
I don't want to spoil this.
Okay, I will.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead. Cool.
So when with Tony's parents being killed by Bucky, they actually showed it like a hint of it in Winter Soldier.
Yeah, in the Zola scene where they were showing all the redacted stuff. That was the first time that ever occurred to me. I was like, oh my gosh, I think that's where he learned about Tony's parents.
Yeah, so the first time I seen this movie, that didn't occur to me. Like I seen it, but I didn't think about it until I watched Civil War, and I'm like, all right, how did they even know? Mm-hmm. Well, how did he know?
Yeah.
So obviously, I don't think that's a conversation that him and Bucky are having.
Right.
You know, but when I went and rewatched this, I'm like, oh, they showed it right there.
Yeah. Yes. And here's the thing, like, I've seen this movie a bunch of times too, but it was this time that watching it that actually occurred to me. I was just like, when I saw the documents up on the screen, you know, when Zola's talking, I was like, oh my gosh, I think this is that moment where he's learning, you know? Yeah. So it's so crazy that after watching this movie so many times, that's the first time that actually occurred to me in that moment. So that's
the great thing about. Hold on, can Quincy come back?
Oh yeah, we're done. You're good, Quincy.
I am. You know, it's gonna be great.
I'm so happy that we were able to keep that from you. So
okay, cool. Great. You know what's gonna be great is once I watch it, then I get to go back and listen to this chunk of the episode and be like, oh, now I know.
It's good we release these so way ahead in the future, because if you were to listen to it, you'll probably already have seen the movie.
I hope so. I
was gonna say, like, that's the great thing about, one, Marvel and Kevin Feige, but also the writers. I forget their name, just like Steven.
It's like. Yeah, Marcus and McFeely, I believe, are their last names. Yeah.
They thread so many different storylines, as well as storylines for future movies.
Right.
That, you know.
Listen, this is like the longest television series in the world, is how I've decided it. Because I'm like watching it, and like as I'm learning, we're unpacking like all these Easter eggs, and we're just starting phase 2, right? And like all those Easter eggs are already paying off. So I can only imagine the number of things that they're paying off and calling back in these later movies. And like, y'all watched them like in real time. So there were like 2-3 year gaps in between, and I get to just like blaze through them. And I'm like, this is literally the longest, most expensive TV series in the world.
Well, it is. And what I feel is interesting is like, it makes me wonder like how much you're picking up on the payoffs, considering you didn't have as much time to like simmer on them. Or, you know, I think it could work both ways. Either you're like, oh, I just saw that, so I can see how it relates to this. Or you're just like, I'm watching so much stuff. Like, so you're not really aware of like all the details. So I feel like it's going to be a mix of like, oh, this I recognized right away. And this I'll point out to you. You'll be like, what?
Yeah. I have a friend right now who's going through the Marvel universe in order. So he'll do like Iron Man 1, 2, 3, Captain America 1, 2, 3. And he's getting like a whole different, and he's watched it already, but he's getting a whole different experience doing it that way as well. So it's really cool.
Interesting.
I seen the first one. I'm like, I never seen the second one.
Which one?
Thor 2. I've never seen it.
You ever seen Thor 2? Okay, interesting. That was the one with Natalie Portman. Remember the ether?
Oh yeah,
the red,
Thor one was
the
so
PMS.
good. Yeah, it was the PMS one. Yeah, we watched it, and I was like, because there's this red thing, and I was like, oh, this is just women on their period. Like when she goes dark, I'm like, that's me, PMS.
Wait, so Hakim, you never plan to watch Dark World?
I feel like I don't need to. Like, I know what happened. I don't need to.
That's so funny.
Pretty much. Well, so I'm going to spoil it for you, if that's cool. So in Dark World, that's where they introduce the ether, the red Infinity Stone.
Oh yeah, I know that.
Okay, yeah. So when it possesses Jane, Natalie Portman's character, and Quincy was just like, oh, so she has PMS.
It just was, she was tired. She was cranky. She like hurt people. You know, I was like,
that's probably a metaphor for it.
That's what I mean. I was like, this is just a woman on her period. And yeah.
That was one thing I noticed about Winter Soldier too, was they didn't bring back any of the stones until like after the credits.
True. Quincy, did you watch all the way to the end?
No.
You didn't?
No.
All the way till the end after where it says the songs. No.
It's like a Marvel thing. Like
no, I know, but like this time I was like, oh, okay, I'll know.
Fast forward it.
And then they also bring Bucky back like right at the very end.
Wait, time out. Oh my God. Yes, you're right. I haven't been fast forwarding.
We've been having problems with Quincy watching the end credits. Are you saying you just realized now that you could fast forward?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can fast. It's streaming.
No, I know, but it just
Didn't occur to you.
You born in the 80s?
89.
Oh, there you go. That's why.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, there was like a double end credit one time, and I watched that. I was like, I'm done. And then she was like, oh, that's the mid post credit. And I was like, oh, okay. And then this time I was like, oh, I'll probably know. It's hinting at the next one. And it didn't occur to me to fast forward through.
Wait. So to finish this off real fast. So this one did have kind of a mid credit one.
Had two.
No.
And then it had the end one. So did you watch either of those?
No.
Oh, cool.
I'll watch it for the next episode.
The thing is, the mid credit, the end one is you're just like, okay, but Bucky's still there. You kind of get that by the end of the.
You know what I have to stop doing is I have to stop looking shit up on IMDb while the movie's playing, because I spoiled Bucky's reveal this time, because I was like, I was like, because Kay had mentioned Bucky was going to come back, and in my head it was like 50 movies down the line, and so then I wanted to look up some actor, and I look up Captain America Winter Soldier, and of course the first person you see is the actor who plays Bucky, and he looks like fucking Bucky, and I was like, in this movie.
And this making this podcast is just such an epic battle between spoilers and what do you know and what will you learn and what do you know, and trying to get you to watch the after credits.
I gotta watch him in something else, because he plays stale really good in like all of the movies. I'm like, he seems like a great actor. I want to see him be more lively. Like he's all. And they even call it out in I don't want to spoil Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
I didn't recognize him, by the way, at all. It occurred to me, I was like, I wonder if this is Bucky, but like with his mask on like this, he looked younger. And when they pulled it off, he looked younger with his like long hair. And then when you see him in the flashback, he looks much older, much older.
We does have kind of like a shaggy.
40s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
I think that's just like the difference between his clean cut versus Shaggy. I feel like Shaggy always reads younger.
Yeah.
I think that's on purpose too, because when in that flashback when they show him, he is kind of the bigger brother.
Yeah.
Rogers, you know what I mean? So whether it's makeup or the cut or a combination of all of it, he had to come across as physically bigger than him.
Yeah, that's true.
It's true. Well, some other quick things I wanted to mention about the movie. You have some ancillary characters really getting into the action this time. You have like Maria Hill, saving them in the van. You have the whole epic Nick Fury sequence with him trying to get away from the Winter Soldier. I know it's Samuel L. Jackson, but it's almost like you can't like separate the Samuel L. from anything.
I'm like, what, I was like, you have all this equipment in your one car. I'm like, you don't have like an eject button or like a Mayday button. Like, I know you can take care of yourself, but like, I was like, you're pretty high profile. I'm like, he had everything but like a Mayday button.
To be fair to Samuel L. Jackson first, they designed that new Nick Fury after him.
Oh, so cool.
All he did was fill in the role that they designed after him.
That's really cool.
It actually makes sense why it comes across as Samuel Jackson, because it should be
Samuel L. Jackson. That's fucking tight.
I mean, honestly, in my opinion, like there is a real multiverse world where somewhere in this world, in this galaxy, in this frequency of existence, Samuel L. Jackson actually is Nick Fury somewhere.
He is Nick Fury to a T. Was the original Nick Fury black, or did they? He was white. Oh, that's
I think he was really white, and they obviously they have different iterations of comics all the time. So I think they designed this new one after him, and he saw it and was like, "Oh, all right."
It's like, I'll do that.
He was great. He's so good.
He's always
he's always good.
And you have the Stan Lee cameo as the guard at the museum. That was really fun and really sweet. And a quick thing that actually kind of started here is, since the Russo brothers do a lot of the later Marvel movies, they have community actors. There's a kind of a trend of community actors showing up in
That
Marvel
makes
movies.
sense, because I was like, okay, is this before Community or after? Because I was like, Danny Pudi is playing like a 5-liner in this movie.
Yeah.
What? But
Danny
that makes
Pudi
sense.
played Abed in Community.
Yeah.
He plays the
Oh,
kid. You don't remember that?
No, I didn't know that. Because I'm not a Community fan, so I didn't.
Oh,
I didn't
okay.
that they were just showing up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
so that
he's
was like
the superhero comic loving, like nerdy, like can go like riff on like 20 like he's like a super smart dude who just like riffs on Superman, like superhero stuff, and it was great to see him.
and like pop culture in general in Community.
He was Donald Glover's butt buddy in Community. Like those two, they were like the two nerds who like geeked out with each other and like played pillow fight forts and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good show if you ever have a ton of time on your hands, you know, you can zip through it. It's on Netflix. What was that?
You said it's on Netflix?
It's on Netflix. Yeah. Dan Harmon created it.
I know the Russo brothers, one of them, I don't know which one, but he sometimes will have a role in the movies they direct too.
Oh, interesting.
He did. And he actually was in this one too.
Was he? I didn't even notice him.
He was the doctor when he was like running down the hallway. It was yeah.
I didn't notice that. Yeah. Because he was also in Endgame, and then the new one I was just talking about, Cherry, with Tom Holland. He's in it too.
Oh, that's really cool. This happened with me with Jon Favreau in Iron Man.
Yeah, he was a director.
I know, and I was like, yeah, who?
Yeah, when she discovered Jon Favreau was also the director, she was like, what?
Yeah, because I've seen him in a bunch of comedies, right? And like, I don't know, he's one of those guys you're always like, oh, that guy.
And there's like, he's also the director.
Yeah.
You're like,
He's so talented. Like the fact that he did so many comedies and then he ended up being this brilliant director as well.
Yeah.
I would have never called that.
Yeah.
You know what I
mean, you stick around.
No, I feel like with comedy people, I'm not that surprised, mostly because I feel like with comedy, so much of it is like setting the stage so you can break expectations to deliver a joke. So I actually I think the magnitude of how he was able to execute Iron Man, like, I think that was his first major movie, right? Like on that level, it's very impressive. But like, I'm not surprised a comedy person was able to execute it, just because I feel like, I don't know, comedy's like collaborative and like you have to set the table to, you know, do jokes and stuff. So I'm like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And you got to know like timing really well too, which I feel like can lend itself to action. And also, I feel like that's the reason why, like in this modern era, like, for me, like a lot of action movies tend to skew comedic, at least the ones that I watch. So it's almost like they're going more and more hand in hand than your traditional like action drama or everything serious, where you're like, you need to be able to, like, you know, let the air out at some point, you know. And
horror too. And horror, so I feel like the opposite sides of the same spectrum, you know, because you're building up your audience and then you're blowing that bubble up. No,
true.
I agree. And then like some horror situations, because I've had a few horror auditions, and when you think about it, you're just like, this is an insane premise. And like, what is happening right now? And like, if you just tweak a few things, it's a comedy, because it's like an insane situation, and you know, it's just less screams and dead bodies. Or you could have dead bodies and it's still kind of funny.
Yep. So just a few more things I wanted to mention. One of my favorite scenes in this movie is when, you know, Capt gives his great speech, which he becomes also known for in later movies, of like doing a great pep talk. And then like the Hydra people come into that, you know, bay with all the tech people and like Sharon Carter, and he has like the gun on the tech guy's head, and he's just like, you know, release the things. And he's like, and the guy like looks down, and he's like, no, I'm not going to do it because of Cap's orders. I was just like, yes, Cap's orders, you know.
That was a great scene. No, the other scene that was really great was when he's in the elevator the second time, and then he's kind of like reading the room. And he's like, yo, if anybody wants to get off now.
I also was like, guys, come on. And I know you guys think you guys are stacking this right now, but like he's 95, and this is not going to end well for anyone.
He knows people.
Yeah, and I'm like, no,
Yo, you know what's good about the actor Chris Evans, who's a Boston guy? You know, he's from Massachusetts, like me. But
hey.
Yeah, he did a lot of comedy before playing Captain America.
True.
Oh yes, wasn't he? No.
He was in.
Wasn't he in Wedding? No, he wasn't in Wedding.
Oh, he was in Not Another Teen movie.
Yes.
Not Another Teen.
Was he?
Yeah, he was the lead. And then he was also in Fantastic Four.
Yes, I remember that. He was the flame dude who was like so arrogant.
Human Torch.
And a comedic guy. So when he first got this role, I was like, this guy? You know what I mean? Like I didn't know he was he's like an actor. Like,
oh yeah.
Broadway too. Like he's serious.
Yep.
He did a complete 180 for this role.
I mean, but that makes sense because in Thor 2, he has a little cameo and he makes fun of himself in character. Like,
yes, yeah.
As Loki pretends to be him. And like, I was like, whoa, like, you're funny. And that makes sense that he comes from a comedy. But see, comedy people can do everything.
And he directs too. He directed a rom-com.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, I was just watching it the other night. It's on I think it's on Netflix.
What's it called?
Yeah, so it's called Before We Go.
Okay.
He plays like a trumpet player in Grand Station in New York. That's what it's called, Grand Station?
Grand Central?
Grand Central? Yeah.
Yeah. And then like a woman drops her phone and then it's about their dynamic throughout the whole night. Cute. So it's really it's like two characters.
Yeah.
And he directed it like the same year I think one of the Avenger movies came out. Oh,
that's really cool. I didn't know he was from Boston. I thought this movie, there's some shots that felt like it was from Boston. Like what is that like Ritchie area in Boston? Where like
I don't know Boston very well.
Like Fire and Ice is there. The Melting Pot is there. I don't know what that area is called. It's like very glitzy. It's like Newberry Street adjacent. I think. I don't know. I don't know. There was just a few scenes where like the awnings and like the way the streets converge just reminded of me Boston's. Yeah, because they have like very specific like little like awnings that come out in like the richer neighborhoods. What?
I don't know what an awning is.
Like it's like a little like baby like.
It's like the roof that juts out from like it's like the top of the tent stuff when like
Lights be?
It's what?
Where the Christmas lights are usually hanging?
No, it's like this is I guess like dangling, but
like the birds, the restaurant, or like any restaurant where they have like outside dining.
I'll look it up after.
Hey, we're doing a great job.
I'll look it up after.
Great job.
It took place in DC, so that's probably why.
Okay, yeah, I was like, it's either DC or Boston. Yeah,
it was just there's DC.
Certain streets that I was like, oh, this feels like Boston.
Yeah. Another place to think like, oh, we should try and look what that city is. The epic end scene of the Triskelion. Actually, I have a note here that I should look up how to say that correctly. I forgot to do that, but so that is one of the epic scenes I feel like in kind of the MCU as well, just like 3 helicarriers going down, shooting at each other, into buildings, which also comes back later in the MCU when they're talking about like kind of what the MCU kind of has wreaked on the world since these superheroes have shown themselves.
That was a great scene, that ending scene with the fight. Well, for one, it was great that Cap had like kind of like an antithesis. You know what I mean? Like the complete opposite of him.
Right.
And who also had the serum and was like stopping his every move. And then also just emotionally, where Cap is like, he brings back the line from the first movie.
Yep.
He's like, I'm with you to the very end. And he strikes him emotionally.
Yes.
That's why I say this is a perfect movie. Like they don't miss with any of the different beats, like the action beats, the emotional beats. You see how much, even if you've never seen the first one, you still know how much Bucky means to him.
Yep.
you know, let him sit there and beat his face in.
Yep.
But this is also why I feel like this could be the first movie. Like, you know? Yeah. I don't know. I feel like it goes both ways, because there were also moments, I agree with you, Hakim, where I'm like, oh, these things raised the stakes because you knew what he lost in the first movie and how much time has passed. Like when he goes, you know, he makes jokes like, no one I know is alive. Like they're all like, you know, the string quartet boys are
my
dead.
acapella group.
Yeah, my acapella. Yeah. Barbershop Quartet is dead. So like those things, and then you know when they go to the museum, what is it when like she sees Black Widow and him are like, she's like, who's that? Oh, they're in the bunker, and she's like, who's that? And he ignores it. So like you feel the pain, and I do agree like where the first movie serves this movie is with the loss and the grief.
Yeah, they did great callbacks.
They did. Oh, speaking of callbacks, Natasha ripping off the face, great callback.
Was it? What was that from?
Yeah, from the first one, because we went on like this whole rabbit hole because Red Skull in the first movie
rips off his face,
and we were just saying like that's a very good villain face. You didn't have to like waste that fake face, and and so when Natasha does it, it was like sick, because it was like also like a digital face kind of.
Yeah, it was like a digital like a digital screen that she had on her face.
So that was really cool. And yeah, I agree, like the fight scenes overall just like elevated, like when what was it when Winter Soldier does the knife work, that was great. Like you could tell they brought some like badass fighters. Like even the opening fight, like all the fights felt very different but the same in the sense that like stylistically it felt like Captain America, no matter who he was fighting.
Yeah. And Captain America, like when I was a kid, I felt the same way about him like I felt about like Superman. I'm like,
cool.
This super American guy, like he's goody two shoes. But I feel like they deaded that in this movie. Like, I
agree.
He's not that guy. Like he's going to question things. And he wasn't, you kind of see seeds of it in the first, y'all talk about the Avengers, the first one?
Yes. We've seen that one.
In the first Avengers, after he talks to Tony Stark, but they really brought it out in this one. Yeah. I think that's how they really separated him from Superman and any goody two-shoes superhero that just, you know, is a super soldier for America.
Yeah.
Like, they really brought that in here. And it really, obviously, when you see the next one, they really foreshadow what's going to happen in that one.
Yes.
Like, all right, this is all.
It's almost like he's in a new phase of his life. What?
This happens a lot, Kate. This is the second knockout punch you've done with phase 2. In our last Avengers movie, they kept hinting at like a phase 2, and Kay was like, you know, like how there's gonna be a phase 2 of the movies, and I was like, what?
I live for those moments where I can make Quincy go like this. What? Like
I've done like several already.
They're great for the gram. And so yeah, that pretty much brings us to the end of the Marvel portion.
Do you have any hot takes, Hakim?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Kate. Yeah.
No,
do you have any
final words about the movie?
Takes?
Well, my hot take is this is the best Marvel movie. Like,
okay, very hot.
The best one. You know what I mean? The fact that they're bringing it back now with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, you know what I mean? They bring Sharon back, so you finally see what happens with her. You know, I think it's a very super airtight movie. They the first time they bring in the cross genre, you know, bending in this. You know, they tease at Captain America not just being a soldier who just blindly follows things. He's 3D. He has different personality traits he's showing.
You know what I just realized too? Doesn't Agent Carter, or was it in this movie where someone goes, "You need to lead"? And like, isn't this him like really stepping into those leadership shoes?
Yeah, Nick Fury says it to him. He says, at
the start of the movie, or is it?
No, it's towards the end. It's like the beginning of the third act where he's like,
yes.
You're giving the orders now, Captain.
Yes. That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. He really becomes Captain America.
Yeah.
You know, and in his own, and it's the best one for me.
Yeah, no longer beholden necessarily to like this overall agenda, but just going after what he feels is like the next mission and what's, you know, who needs to be saved, you know?
I can already see Tony Stark and him were already butting heads, like, and he was being a good boy. Now I'm like very curious to see how that's gonna work.
And
out.
and
All right, hold on. I know you're not going to talk about it yet because you got to get to the Civil War whenever you talk about Civil War, but you got to bring up how their arcs cross.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
You know what I mean? So you watch how Captain America started in his movie. You see how Iron Man started.
Oh, yes.
In that movie, you really see how their arcs cross over.
Oh, interesting.
That's brilliant work. I think it's the Russo brothers too.
Yep, because they do Civil War, the next Captain America movie, and Iron Man he's at the end of his initial arc. He's done with his first 3 movies, but when he does come back, he'll be part of other people's stories. Cool. So it's interesting how he ends up continuing his arc even when he's not necessarily
done with his
the
trilogy.
main character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm curious to know if I'll like Captain America. Once I see the 3rd movie, I got on board with Iron Man after I saw the 3rd one, mostly because
after the 3rd. Yeah.
The way they do it, it's hard. Like you see both sides.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Both sides, yeah.
True.
I mean, because you're right, because Iron Man starts as like unpenetrable, like on top of his game, and by the end you see him very human, and Captain America starts the opposite, like very human. Very vulnerable, and like you can see the stepping stones of him being like a hero.
Yeah.
Well, I think that is an awesome take to end on. I will say though, Quincy, watch the dang after credits because there was a really important one this time.
You can spoil it for me.
Okay, Wanda.
Let's spoil it.
Wanda and Petro Maximoff.
Is this the one where they show the Wanda?
They show up in the mid-credit. You didn't even have to get to the end of the credits to watch that one. So go watch it.
Oh man, I'll watch it. I've been waiting for the Wanda one because a friend of mine, the friend who's watching it in orders, mentioned, she gets introduced here.
Yes, in the mid-credit scene of Winter Soldier. So go back and watch that, and we'll make sure that we talk about it at the very top. I'll even make sure the next guest knows that we're going to talk about it.
I'm so upset because I've heard so many good things about WandaVision. I can't watch it until next year.
Nope.
I can't. I have friends who are like, oh, now that people are vaccinated and things are open, let's go to the cinema and let's watch Black Widow. I'm like, sorry guys, I can't watch that.
We'll see how our recording schedule does, because that is in July. And we're halfway through phase 2, so we're clipping along. So that brings us to the end of the Marvel portion of the podcast. We're going to now stretch and share. Right now we choose a stretch, and while we do it, we each share a little bit about our week. I think last week you chose Quincy, so I'm going to choose this time. Mm-hmm. This is one we won't be able to see on camera, but it's like doing this, but with like your foot.
Oh, great. Oh my goodness.
That. Just like, it gets your calf going. And if you want to roll your ankle around too, you can do that. And so since I picked the stretch, Quincy, do you want to start off with the share?
Yes. I don't have a share. I always do this. I always think of all the shares I'm going to share. I know. And then my brain forgets. I don't know why it does this. What's a good share that I want to share? I feel like, I don't know.
Okay, I have one. I'll go.
Okay.
So my share is the fact that I have a balcony, and the door to open it is always a problem because there's like the screen door and there's the glass door, and they're always just like, hard to like move. Well, last night the screen door pretty much was practically off the whole rail, except for like one side of it was still stuck on. So after a long debate, we decided to like just take it off. and it made the glass door so much easier to open and close. So now we're just like debating on like, do we just leave it off or like try to fix it and then end up struggling again?
Can you just have the apartment manager send a maintenance person to fix it?
Yes, but it's almost like they fix it and then you're just like, it will work for a couple times, but then by the 4th or 5th time you're just like, struggling.
Ask a question about your balcony.
What was that?
Can I ask a question about your balcony?
Sure.
Do you have pigeons that frequent your balcony?
Oh, I don't think so.
I have a balcony that connects to my bedroom too, and like I have a very bad pigeon problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
You think they're pooping on the thing and it's making it hard to move?
I don't think they are. I caught them building a nest. I found eggs.
Oh, wow.
You found eggs?
Yeah, I get rid of them. Like I don't throw them out, but I bring them to the front and just dump them outside, but.
What do you mean you dump them outside?
Bring them outside.
You relocate them?
Yeah, I relocate them. That's a better way to say it.
Oh, okay.
Because I heard that if you let the eggs hatch, they won't leave. Like they just like build a nest and like frequent this place. And they'll
imprint on the place and be like, this is our home now.
Okay, I feel like you've told me this story and I feel like shit's escalated.
I had pest control come through. They were gone for a few weeks. And then they came back like, all right.
Well, good to know. I'm going to look out for those pigeons now.
You're going to come out of the pandemic as like pigeon man. Like you're just going to, you know?
I hate it.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Did you come up with anything to share, Quincy?
No, I was so engaged. Hakim can go if he has a share.
Other than your pigeons, any other details?
No other details about my pigeons.
Or highlights from the past week?
Highlights from the past week. I don't think so. I was in Vegas the past week. I was been on vacation.
No highlights from Vegas. Just Vegas. So boring.
Vegas. It was pretty boring. Like I went to a day spa for the first time.
Ooh.
It was I could only do an hour. Like I couldn't do like a half hour. So it was my first time for a full hour. This guy just like massaging every part of my body that I never had massaged before. He brought my legs up and like cracked it in ways I never cracked it before. Yeah, it was different, but I came out relaxed. And they had CBD oil. So like I came out super relaxed.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, it was great.
I'm waiting for the Korean spot to open. And our favorite one is in Irvine, which is like a real treat because it's a long drive, so we don't get to go. And I was like to my girlfriend, I was like, hey, let's like look up if they're open or when they're opening. And people have left I miss you Yelp reviews on their page. Aww. Being like, we need you. Please make it out. I missed you so much. I love it. It's crazy. I have a share. I remember now. I went to the desert last week for a few days, which was really cool. It was dispersed camping. Oh, yeah. It was dispersed camping. And
what's dispersed?
So it's like you can camp anywhere, but like there's no like running water, like there's no bathrooms. And you poop outside and there is one bathroom. So the second morning we went and like used that bathroom. The third morning I was like, fuck, I need to poop. But then it's interesting because when you're there and you're like actually doing it and looking for a place to go poop, because you have to bury your poop. You have to dig a hole and bury your poop. You're like, it was interesting because I was like, I gotta go poop. I like grabbed the shovel and I'm going. And then, you know, sometimes when you go poop, like your poop goes back inside and it's like, it doesn't want to come out. I was like, I don't need to poop. And then I was like, I don't need to poop. I'm good. Then I come back to the camp. I'm like, oh no, I need to poop. And so I'm looking for a spot. I don't know. It's just a very interesting experience looking for a place to take a shit. And then you wonder like, did my ancestors do this? Was there like a local bathroom spot everyone went to? Like, you know, or do you just go?
Did it, but they didn't really care where as much.
Yeah, because I guess there was so much like land everywhere, right?
It wasn't as regulated.
Yeah, no. And then it was interesting because like the pants I was wearing were like drop crotch, so they were like low. It was not good for pooping, so I like took them off, and I was like standing in my underwear at one point. I was like, "This is great." Very liberating to stand in nature in your underwear, I will say.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I feel like you're closer to how it would have been for humans in nature than, you know, with pants.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Huh. Cool.
I pooped outside, guys. That's my shit.
Your intimate share.
well, that's what we bring to the podcast world. Intimate stretch and shares. Yeah. Along with Marvel talk and to our third segment, we're going to dive into the makeup portion.
Yeah.
Quincy, what are we doing today?
We're doing lips today. Hakim, will you be joining us?
I got chapstick.
Great. That's great. You were okay. So lips. So it's always good to moisturize. If your lips are cracked and cruddy, it's always nice to do like a little sugar scrub. I didn't have you. We're not doing a sugar scrub because there's like electronical stuff. But you would buy like a sugar scrub or like a lip balm with like sugar in it, and you would like rub it on. You can use a toothbrush to exfoliate. Okay, your eyebrows were like, wait, you brush your lips?
Wait, can you use like regular like house sugar and like dip it in? And...
Usually what people will suggest you do, I think, is you use brown sugar and like you can put like coconut. You can make, there's like simple recipes at home. So you can use like a brown sugar mix, put some essential oils to make it smell yummy, and like coconut. I think some people, no, not honey, that's for hair. And then you'll use that and like mix it up, and you would just like rub it on like this.
So you rub it on and then rinse it off.
Yes. I know there's lip balms like sugar scrubs that people say like you can eat after because they're made out of like organic natural products, which you could do too. I don't know, just because you're like scrubbing like dead skin off your lips. So I don't know. I guess you could eat.
If you want to see what skin tastes like, all sugary.
Probably would.
Yeah, if you're like hungry enough, I guess. So you would do that, and then you would gently wipe it off with the towel. I always say moisturize because you want your base.
So chapstick is lip moisturizer. It's like lotion for your lips. Okay. Well, that's the first thing I'm applying right now. At
one point, I had like really peely lips, and I realized it was because I was not drinking enough water, and it took me like 4 or 5 days to get to a point where like my lips weren't dry. Yeah, drink water.
Well,
your lips are good.
I'm putting on the moisturizer now. I did. In the winters, I tend to use this more because it dries them out. But I feel like whenever I do use it, I'm just reminded that it's there, and I'm just aware of like, when can I next drink something? When can I next eat something and not taste the chapstick? That's just what occurs to mind.
That's interesting. I'm like that with lipstick. That's why I don't usually wear lipstick, because I end up eating it all.
Right. And
I use chapstick like 1,000 times a day.
Really?
I used to be like that, and I don't know what happened. I just don't use chapstick nearly as much anymore. Yeah.
If I lose it, or if I misplace my chapstick, if it runs out, then I start getting like cautious about my lips, and then it feels dry.
Oh.
And I panic. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite brand, or do you use anything?
I like the what's that blue one? It's
Visine. There's a Visine one. I like Carmex personally.
It's not Visine.
Blistex.
I think it's Blistex that I use.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Blistex.
Blistex is also very good.
That one. Yep.
Yeah, Blistex is very good. I like Carmex because it's very thin. I remember when I was in Boston, one of the winters was so cold. I was like my lips here were getting so chapped. It was like so painful. I don't miss Boston winters at all. I do miss snow. I miss the quiet of snow and like the crunching of snow.
I went in December, and it felt different because I didn't have to go to work in it. I didn't have to shovel. It was like I just go outside and play with it.
Yo, there's a couple. I think this is one of those like Instagram things. There's a couple like somewhere in Colorado who uses a fire, like a blowtorch.
Yeah, I seen that. I would have to burn my house down. This
is also very true. I would not trust myself with any sort of fire or just anything, any heavy equipment, no tools. And I don't get it. I wouldn't. If I were a caveman, I would have not discovered anything because I
just brought that up. All right, quick thing before you get back into the makeup. When we're talking about like vaccines and like zombie apocalypse, I always feel like I have to get vaccinated and become a zombie if that's what's going to happen, because I don't know how to build a fire.
Oh, interesting. So you're like, I got to turn into okay. So in a zombie apocalypse, you would turn into a zombie. That would be your strategy.
I have no choice.
That's your survival method is to be on the zombie side. Interesting.
These glasses are like, I got negative 6.25.
Yeah, I'm blind as shit. I'm blind as
Contacts.
Shit.
Yes.
Yeah. Hakim, you are much more logical than I, because my solution is I just gotta go die. So I just will overdose on a bunch of drugs and die happy in a field, because I can't do shit either. You're very smart.
At least be a zombie.
I'm also, because I'm like, I don't want to see my friends die. I don't want to have to like kill my friend. I don't want to like, I don't know, like have to.
I'm realizing I have not
thought about that.
Not considered my role in the zombie apocalypse as much as others have. I guess I need to get on that.
Yeah.
I just watched zombie movies, so I had to think about it.
That's actually very smart. But then watch Hakim, because like then in the zombie movie, no zombie would like, they'd be like, you're too desperate, we can't, like something's wrong with you,
you're a thirsty zombie.
Yeah, you're like a thirsty human. You'd be like, bite me, and they'd be like, nah.
What is this Twilight? Are you Bella?
Like, what's wrong with you?
Like, you thirsty, I'll get out of here.
Yeah, no. That's
funny.
That's so funny. That's funny, actually. I am switching back to lips. Speaking of eating, let's eat some lipstick. Okay, so this is lip liner.
Right.
The point of lip liner is to it's to prevent bleeding, not actual bleeding, from your lipstick from bleeding out. Because sometimes you'll see women with like lipstick, coming off their lip, and this kind of helps contain it.
Right.
You want to keep it sharpened. Are you sharpening it right now? Okay.
I'm opening it.
Okay, great.
It's wrapped in plastic.
Yes.
I don't think it's a sharpened type one. It's liquid.
Oh, interesting. Oh, wait.
Lip liner retractable crayon.
Oh, yes. So you're going to wind it.
Yes.
Do you do that after chapstick?
Yes.
After the chapstick.
You put on lipstick first, or you?
No, you do chapstick, lip liner, then whatever lip product you're doing.
Yes.
And if you want to even moisturize it even more, like you could do a lip primer, but
yeah. There's always a primer. So
then again, Hakim?
It's like painting.
Yes. That's a good way to put it. Yeah. Primer is, I don't know what paint primer does. Do you?
Well, you prime the walls first. I just know you do it. I don't know.
Yeah. That's so funny, because if you were to tell me, Quincy, you have to prime your walls before you paint them, I'd be like, why? That's just an extra step. Let me skip it.
But yet every single thing that you're just like, and make sure you have a primer. I'm just like, there's like a primer. There's a face primer. There's an eye primer. There's a
lip primer.
A primer thing. Okay.
Yeah.
But so we're lining now, right?
Yes. We're gonna line the lip, and where you want to line it is where the lip, your lip and your face skin meet.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
I feel like that is a good clear line. Versus like all the other lines where you just, here's the line. I'm just like, oh, that looks so. And what
will help with this too is like, versus trying to use this, like, I have a liquid lipstick. This is like a brush and it's not pointed. So if I'm trying to like accurately paint to the line, you will smear, right? Unless you're very practiced. So it's also like, in kindergarten, did you guys learn to like outline before you color?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what this is.
Okay.
Is it the same color as the lipstick, or is it black?
It depends. Oh, this is a nude one. It depends on the kind of effect you want to go for. I usually like to go like make it a little darker, and then or match or make this a little darker, depending on how you want to do it. You can do even an ombre lip, which is like really dark and like it gets lighter. I just found out what they call a Korean lip. And it's actually like the reverse. Like this will be like very red, and it'll like lighten out into like a pinky, which we'll do on another episode. But we're just gonna do like a basic lip today.
Cool. So you're gonna start with your top lip.
Yes, I'm going to start with your top lip. I don't think it really matters. The key to your top lip, this little dent right here you see is called the Cupid's bow. I like to start there. Think about drawing an X.
So you're drawing an X where the Cupid's bow is.
Yes, right here.
Okay.
And then I'll draw it.
And And then you're kind of going back to the top of the peak of the top lips and going outwards.
Yes. And,
okay. And so is the the top of the X, that was also the peak of the top lip too, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you're connecting those dots.
Are you coloring the lip or are you just outlining
outlining
the part?
Outlining.
Just outlining the line like you would when you're coloring, just outlining the outside of the space that you're going to color in.
Right.
And then similarly here.
So for the bottom lip, you're starting kind of like, you're doing kind of like a back and forth type motion, not just like a line.
Yeah, I think, because that way it'll, excuse me. Because then if you try to draw like one line, it's not going to be even unless you have a really steady hand.
Okay, that's a good tip.
If you kind of just go, or even if you just, like like you're sketching, go like out like this, kind of like where you left it, where you picked it up, going back over it, like that helps. This is a very, when I watch makeup tutorials on YouTube, they have like a special camera that'll like zoom in so you can see.
Well, I mean, it's interesting because like, since I'm the one that's not the makeup person, if I were to be like, on my own, be like, okay, lip liner, let's line my lip, I probably would have just tried to be like, here's the line, let me color on the line. Yeah. And I'll be like, okay, line done. Yeah. But the idea of going kind of like back and forth, like a sketching motion, that wouldn't have like naturally occurred to me. Yeah. Organically.
Yeah. That way, because then you're not sitting there going, let me just trace this line, right? I mean, I think some women do that. Do I do that? No, I guess because it makes it easier to keep the line straight and clean. Yeah.
So are you fully lined now? Is that what that looks like?
Yeah. You can't tell because it's like really close to my natural lip line.
Okay. And so why don't you keep going and then I'll...
Oh, you want to see the finish? Okay. So I don't have lip gloss. I realize I do have lipstick, but I don't have lip gloss. So I'm going to use this liquid lipstick because it already has some like shine in it.
Gloss in it. Okay.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start here in the middle.
In the middle of your top
Hakim,
lip.
If you have any interesting things that you notice about women doing lipstick, please feel to try.
What
about my lips? Like, I once burned myself. I burned my lip skin off.
How?
I was in Nicaragua on a study tour. Studying coffee, and our tour guide took me and my boy to a bar. And they were doing flame shots.
Oh.
I didn't do it right.
I would have joined you.
Yeah, so I lit on fire.
Oh, wow.
So your lips were like...
Yeah, I burned my lip skin off, like clear off. And luckily, the lips are one of the areas on your body that will heal back the fastest. And the most back to its like original place.
That makes sense because your lips are being, high activity, high usage. That sounded weirdly sexual and I wasn't trying to be. Yeah, but like there's, it's like the heel of your foot. There's a lot of like action. Yeah.
So it healed back within like a month. But there's a portion of my lip, like you got to be really close to see it, but it's still kind of pink.
Oh, okay.
Right around here.
I see. This is I for some reason find it's not in a sexual way. I find drag queens who keep their beards very sexy. I don't know what it is. I think there's something very sexy about a drag queen with like lips. I don't know. It's just very sexy to me.
I'll keep that in mind if I ever.
Yeah, because there's like drag queens who'll do like full like drag everything and keep their
beard. My pose on.
So here's my lip. Oh, I don't know if this is a very good color. I usually use this color for drag.
It's dark. It's a darker one. Yeah.
It's a little bit darker. I think it could also be just because I don't have like a full face on.
But you just kind of just colored in the lips.
Yeah.
And try to stay within the lines.
Yes. And what I did was...
What color was that? Is it brown?
It's like almost like a rose gold brown, but I think it comes on brown. I think with this, like the makeup has to be a little bit darker just to support it because it's not, it's a little bit, not dramatic, but if I,
have like a glisten to it.
Mm?
It does have like a glisten to it.
Yeah. This is, I think for me, I would use this more as like a nighttime look. Okay, how are you doing?
I'm starting to line. I feel like I've...
Oh, that looks great.
Yeah? I haven't done the bottom yet.
Yeah.
I feel like I've colored in my lip a little bit more.
That's
like
okay.
Instead of like going back and forth over it, it's becoming a thicker and thicker line and just seeping more into
then you can stop
my actual lip.
I have no idea what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't see it.
It's just, the line. Well, it's very subtle. This is kind of matches my lip color a lot. I feel like. That's the reason why. Do you have any, in terms of like theme, Quincy, did you have any ideas about the theme of lipstick being connected to Winter Soldier?
Did I? Wow, my brain was really off this week. I did not think of anything. Let me think of one right now. We always try to do a thematic pull, Hakim, where we try to pull like why we like try to do a genre mash of like how the makeup ties in thematically to Captain America.
I had thought of something about how, the thing is like Captain America is like a man out of time, right? So because he comes from like a different time. And for me, I feel like lipstick is one of those kind of like timeless makeups.
Cute.
Because even growing up, I didn't know what foundation was. I kind of knew what eyeliner was, but I knew what lipstick was. Mm-hmm. And I got the idea of like lipstick, it goes on your lips, and it was like a thing to go out and like be fancy.
Yeah, a woman puts on lipstick.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it also reminded me how in the first movie, when Peggy Carter shows up at the bar and she's like, she was in her red dress and she had her red lip on. I was just like, that was her kind of like distinguishing herself. So like, I am woman, hear me roar. So,
okay.
Now,
I like that.
Now in this movie, like he's no longer from that innocent time.
But he's still timeless.
But he's still timeless.
Oh, that's very deep.
Like lipstick.
That's very, very good.
I was going to say like, I noticed Black Widow's lips a lot. She's chewing gum. Like when she had the little gadget thingy, like she got it out the machine and she's chewing the gum. I'm like, that's what I thought.
Dude, she really was in super shape for this movie. I feel like she was in shape in the other movie, but for some, like, I don't know if it was, I also liked how they did her hair this time where it was like a really straight blunt cut. But she looked real good in this movie. Yeah. Mine is, so with, if I don't write this down, I usually butcher it. Mine is, you get a kiss of what is to come, what Captain America will be in the future.
Bars. Oh,
yay! Hello.
It's a dark one. I used the darkest one.
That is a very good color on you.
Yeah, I think I went outside of my line.
It's okay. I don't know if we ever got you the correct concealer for you, but if let's say you were here, mine's a really like natural nude color, but let's say like you like smudged it out like here where there's like a smudgy. You could either try
with like a Q-tip or with a tissue.
You could use a Q-tip, or you could get like a brush and dip it in your concealer and gently
and then fix it.
Yeah, like white out.
How do you keep it from going on your teeth?
I have no idea. I haven't figured that out yet. This is why I don't wear a whole lot of. Okay, that is a very beautiful color on you.
It's prominent, I will say, because I usually try to go like to the extreme in a sense of like I'll use too much of a product so I can tell like, oh, that was too much. Because for me, since I'm not as familiar with makeup, I kind of need to figure out where the line is. Otherwise I can't tell what it's supposed to look like. So I can tell I'm wearing lipstick.
Yeah.
Here.
Okay. This is, I think, I know you're still like practicing and learning, but I think you with a lip, like it just brightens up your whole face. Like it's really,
I see the difference. It is not subtle.
Yeah, I know. So we did eyeshadow a few weeks ago, Hakeem, and it was just like a natural eyeshadow like look. And Kay kept going like, I don't see the difference. Like, and I'm like, you're not supposed to. It's like a natural
it's supposed
look.
to be natural. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
you know what my next goal is to try to recreate Georgia Smith. Oh, her skin and her look.
Love Georgia Smith.
No, me too. Oh my God. Georgia Smith is an artist, and her look, Kay, if you look at her, she looks like she's not wearing any makeup, and her skin is beautiful. Yeah, she's gorgeous skin, like gorgeous woman, but she has amazing skin. But then the way they highlight it with with the makeup, it's very dewy. It's very like stripped down, bare, but like she has product on it to make her, I don't know. It's so good.
I don't even know what you're saying right now, but it's whatever you're saying is true.
Yeah. She looks beautiful. But Kay, the lipstick on you, like it looks great.
It looks different. It looks like I have lipstick on. I mean, that's my takeaway. I'm so like, I'm not aware of like what is good, what is bad, what looks natural, what looks, fancy. So to me, I'm like, it's fancy. This is fancy.
No,
and
okay. I think
this gloss on top of it.
Yeah. Kay, I think for you, like for me, I'm like, I have to at least just do my eyes. I don't really care if I do lips. And I feel like there's some women who can just like not do anything but put a lip on and it just works. And I feel like for you, like
a lip person.
Yeah. Like you wouldn't even really have to.
Oh, I feel like I am starting to get like Joker vibes. From
Joker vibes would be you'd be out to here. Yeah. Okay, it looks really pretty.
Well, and here's the other thing. So I have foundation on. I also put blush on and finishing powder on today.
It's very subtle. It looks very good.
Okay, good.
I don't put anything on.
I can't usually tell if I do either. So
that's the point.
So that's why I was pointing it out to be like, it looks good, but it looks like it's not there. Good.
It looks great, Kay. I think even if you were not to do your eyes and you were like just to do lip, and then you can have so much fun with lip colors too. Like this is a great, I think, color on you day or night, actually. If you wanted to have more,
it's prominent. I would have to look at myself for a while and be like, am I willing to go out and look like this?
Okay, it looks gorgeous. It looks great. Yeah. Your lips are really, just the shape. I can see the shape. You have a cute mouth.
Yay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. We learned something.
Really. Like I love how your lip, I don't know. Sometimes lipstick on me, I feel like is hit or miss sometimes. And I just like, it just looks cute and you look
cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
This would be a really,
like,
say that again.
Sometimes I'll see red lipstick and I'm like, she got to be going somewhere.
Yeah.
I feel like you can get away with that. Like,
yeah. This is a really easy way for you to look like dressed without being like dressed. Like even with what you're wearing now, it's a very nice casual like look.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Taking it all in. Oh, I will say I did come up with one last lipstick thing because you mentioned Black Widow, like the fact that they're secrets. Shield has been telling secrets. The lips are the window to the mouth.
Oh, so, loose lips sink ships. And that's like a World War II propaganda poster.
True.
I just heard on the movie. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, it's like a major propaganda thing back then. So yeah.
Well, I think it's with that we shall come to the end. So that's the time that we have for today. Thank you for listening and or watching, and thank you to Hakim for joining us. Hakim, where can people find you
on the internet?
Or are there any projects you'd like to tell us about?
I am on every social network except for TikTok and Snapchat as Chemo Hill. Kimo Hill.
Chemo Hill. Cool.
As far as projects, I'm just right now. Me and my team are pitching a project. It's a horror anthology. Hopefully, we'll have a bite. Right now, we're still just pitching it to networks, so we'll see.
Cool. Well,
Yeah,
excited for that. And congrats on being in the NBC Writers on the Verge. That is such a coveted fellowship. I have applied many, many times and been rejected many, many times. So congratulations on that. And so if you'd like to reach out to us or find more about Marvel Makeup, you can follow us on all social media at Marvel Makeup, or you can email us at marvelandmakeuppod@gmail.com. Please rate and review and subscribe to us wherever you find your podcasts or on YouTube.
And please give us 5 stars so that our Asian moms can have something to brag about to their golf friends.
Yes. Well, thank you so much. This has been Marvel Makeup. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Marvel Makeup is hosted and produced by Quincy Cho and Kei Kanapu. Quincy is an actor-writer based in Los Angeles, California. Kei is a writer-performer for Filipino AF and an alum of the CBS Diversity Sketch Showcase. You can follow them on Twitter and Instagram at Quincy Dinosaur and at Kei Kanapu.
The music for Marvel Makeup was composed by Clarence Yap, and our artwork was designed by Patty Lynn. You can find them on Instagram at Clarence_Yap and at pattylyn.jpg. See our show notes for even more info.
Quincy, this is going to be it.
The after credit for this episode.
We make an after credit for every episode, but you still haven't gotten a hold of watching the after credits.
I've been doing pretty good until recently. Haven't I?
No, not really.
No,
I don't feel like we've ever gotten to the end and you're like, did you watch all the after credits? And you're like, yes, I've seen them all.
Like, you didn't have to wait at the end of the credits at a theater. Like,
yeah,
this is true. You know, I feel like this is, I realize with Marvel, it's because of Marvel movies that you sit after for the post credits, and not every movie does that, huh?
Yeah.
Right. Yes. Yeah. It's a specific Marvel movie, which is what this, it's a specific Marvel thing, which is why we're telling you to do it, because this is Marvel.
I watched the Avengers one and the Thor one.
If nothing else, you're also a filmmaker. And you want people to wait at the end of your credits to see your whole team. So
yes, absolutely.
Just watch all of that, and then you'll also get a bonus of the bonus scene.